Okay, so just kind of jumping into it today, but I made for myself this morning a cinnamon roll breakfast sandwich, and it was great. So that's what this video is all about. It starts with bacon because bacon takes the longest to cook. I cook my bacon in the oven on top of this um, wire cooling rack. That's what that is. It's really intended for use with taking baked goods out of the oven, but whatever. We're using it for bacon. Um, I do line the sheet pan underneath it with three layers of tin foil or aluminum foil to catch all the bacon grease. Now, since this is a cinnamon roll breakfast sandwich, I do need to make cinnamon rolls. I got these out of a can from the grocery store. Okay, okay. It is not name brand, it's Lidl brand. And then that was the little icing packet. Now, other than use of cinnamon rolls, everything else about this is a really regular breakfast sandwich. So I am slicing up some cheese. My little people wanted cheese, so I also had to hand out some samples. Um, but we just sliced up cheese for the breakfast sandwich. I think each sandwich would get about three slices. That's probably what I put on mine. Can't quite remember at this point. Um, but cheddar cheese is delicious with the breakfast things. So did that, kind of set it aside. Then I started working on my eggs. So I took a healthy amount of butter in the saute pan, got that melted. Then I started adding my seasoning to that. I added paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and a little bit of salt. And I made, just honestly, too many eggs. So I did 2 eggs per person. But in the event you're making a breakfast sandwich, it's really hard to put 2 whole eggs worth on that thing. So I probably should have just done 4 eggs instead of 8. But well, we live and we learn, and I save the rest for later. So I went ahead and kind of scrambled my eggs in the seasoned butter, and then just cooked those until they were cooked through. Um, they did end up having to sit for a little too long while I was waiting for the bacon, so that was poor planning on my part. Um, but I didn't want the scramble to be like runny, so I went ahead and cooked it pretty thoroughly. Um, and then gonna set that to the side. Next, I started getting our plates out. I only made the breakfast sandwich for myself. I gave everyone else the individual components so they could choose how they wanted to eat their breakfast. If they wanted their breakfast just as separate pieces, if they didn't want one of the ingredients, whatever, being separate means you can choose. So I did that. I did have to wait a while for the bacon, man. I was feeling so impatient. We did have a little mini dance party for that. Um, and mostly just pacing around the kitchen, being bored, waiting. My coffee was brewing too. It felt like it was taking an eternity. So, yeah, just kind of struggling. Just kind of struggling. But then it was time to take the cinnamon rolls out. I felt the bacon needed a little bit longer, so I cranked up the heat and put the bacon back in and started getting a plate ready to put the bacon on. So we do drain our bacon on paper towels so that it can kind of get some of the fat off. So we waited for that, and while the cinnamon rolls were still hot, I topped them with that icing so that it could melt. Now on mine, since I was doing the cinnamon roll breakfast sandwich, I scraped a little icing off and I just added it to someone else's because I didn't want there to be too much icing on top. I thought a little sweetness would go well with the breakfast sandwich, but I just didn't want to overdo it. So then my bacon was finally out of the oven, and I started taking the bacon pieces off, adding another layer of paper towels, more bacon, more paper towels, more bacon. You get the idea. And once I got all the bacon drained off, I added it to everyone's plate, and it was time to eat. So, this is what my sandwich looked like, and it was divine. It was absolutely everything you think this would be. So, if you make it, hope you enjoy it. Let me know how it goes, and until next time, bye.